Thank you so much for joining us here today. We're going to talk about financial aid for graduate students that includes credential students as well, kind of from start to finish. So again, my name is Kim Wellman. I'm actually the scholarship coordinator and a financial aid advisor here on campus at CSUB. I'm also a double alumni. I got my bachelor's and my master's here at CSUB as well. So most of you probably used FAFSA or DREAM Act for your undergraduate career. I hear a lot of people say that they don't complete it for their graduate program because they've heard there is an aid available. Absolutely, there is aid available. So it all starts with making sure you get your FAFSA or DREAM Act done. Here in California, the priority deadline is March 2nd, and that's coming up on Tuesday. So if you haven't done yours yet, please make sure you do that. And it's a little bit different if it's your first time doing it as a graduate student, your responses are a little bit different. You want to make sure you get them correct because it can hold up your aid going into fall if your FAFSA doesn't have the right responses to match the program you're in. So if you're going in as a master's student, make sure you answer it as a master's student, not as a teaching credential. And if you need help with that, we're here to help. Okay, financial aid eligibility. As a graduate student, you must be admitted to the university first, and then you must also be admitted to the program. And your program has to classify you as either a master's student or a credential student, and you must be at least conditionally classified. So if you get admitted to the program, but they tell you they can't classify you yet because you have some prerequisites you need to complete, you're not financial aid eligible until they tell you they can at least get you conditionally classified. Financial aid disbursement, you must be at least half-time to receive any loans. So for master's or doctorate students, that's 3 units. For credential students, that's at least 6, just like with the undergrad. For full grant disbursements, it's at least 6 units for master's students. It's considered full-time. And then at least 12 units for credentials, just like again with your undergraduate. Okay, different types of aid, and there's some new stuff out there this year coming up. So if you've done your FAFSA or DREAM Act, you will be offered at least loans, okay? As long as you have loan eligibility left, we will offer you loans as you see on the screen. So master's students and doctorates can get up to $20,500 per year in unsubsidized loans. Those are the only loan types available for the master's and doctorate programs. Credential students, you're awarded just like as if you were still working on your bachelor's. You can receive the subsidized for up to $5,500. And if you're an independent student, you can receive unsubsidized for up to $7,500. Now, here's where it's kind of weird. As a credential student, if you are still considered dependent on your parents for FAFSA purposes, we cannot offer you unsubsidized loans. So even though you can receive those as a bachelor's student or an undergrad, you can't as a credential student. Credential students are still eligible for Pell if they have Pell eligibility remaining. Teach Grant. Teach Grant is available for anybody in the education field. So you don't even have to be working on your credential. You could be wanting to teach a particular subject just in the education department. Teach Grant is a little, I think the name's a little misleading because it can turn into a loan if you don't meet the grant requirements. So if you're interested in that Teach Grant, make sure that you understand the commitment to serve that's involved with that program. Loans, always do your research, only borrow what you need. If you don't need the whole amount, please don't take the whole amount. But the loans are available if you need them to get through the program. State aid programs, State University Grant is a limited fund. Here at CSUB, we always have more students who are eligible and needing those funds than we do money. So when I talked about doing your FAFSA or DREAM Act by March 2nd, It gets very important when we come to these limited funds because we will always prioritize the on-time applicants. And when money is available, we're going to make sure we give it to those students first. Okay, there is an MBA grant that can cover the business fee associated with getting your MBA. Again, more students are eligible and need that than there are funds available. Getting your FAFSA done by March 2nd will help you with that one as well. If you were a Cal Grant recipient in your undergrad, you can apply for one more year of Cal Grant to do the credential program, and you do that directly through the Cal Grant website. Middle Class Scholarship is a program that's a couple years old now. It has higher income ceilings, so students who maybe didn't receive any aid before because the incomes were higher are now eligible for Middle Class Scholarship. And it can cover about $1,500 per semester. Has a very strict March 2nd deadline. That one is strict. So make sure, again, you get FAFSA and DreamActs done by March 2nd. You'll be tired of me saying that by the time we're over. And then I also included the page for the Graduate Student Center's opportunities page. And they handle the Graduate Equity Fellowship, collaborative initiatives, non-resident fee waivers. You can get more information there. The California Pre-Doctoral Program, and the CSU Chancellor's Doctoral Initiative Program. So again, all these links when we send you the PowerPoint are active, so you can just click right on them and go to those pages for more information. Scholarships. As a scholarship coordinator, this one is very near and dear to my heart. One of the students we were talking with before we started today is beginning the social work program. There are so many scholarships that we have available here at CSUB for social work. So please make sure you complete our scholarship application, no matter what your program you're interested in. If you're waiting to see if you got admitted to the program, please go ahead and get your scholarship application done anyway. The priority deadline is March 2nd. So what happens is after March 2nd, we start sending out applications that are matched to certain scholarships to those selection committees. So that process will start happening here in the next month, okay? I've also included a link to our page for external scholarships. This is a really good place to go find some scholarship search engines where you can enter what your major is going to be. You can enter your GPA, your financial need, and they will help you find scholarships out there that are off campus, okay? Cost of attendance budgets. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an example of, in financial aid, we can only award you up to your cost of attendance budget, which is that bottom line on this chart. So it's determined by whether you're in the credential program, undergraduate, master's, and then it's based on what you put will be your living situation on your FAFSA. If you put you'll be living with parents on campus or off campus, you can see how it affects the total aid that we are allowed to give you. So having a higher budget doesn't make you eligible for more aid. It just means, let's say you worked hard and you went out and you got, you know, $25,000 in scholarships. We can give you those full scholarships as long as your budget is big enough, okay? And looking at it, a lot of those numbers, except for tuition and fees and then room and board on campus, everything else is an estimate. So it's based off of averages here in our community. It's based off averages with some other CSUs. So it's just an estimate, but that is what we have to use. If you're in a situation where you had to spend a lot of money out of pocket to fix a car or buy a computer, those are kind of things we can use to increase your budget. So if you're in a situation where you've received more aid than we can put in there, we will work with you to raise your budget so we can try to get you every dollar of free money that we can. Okay, these are current costs from fall. So I know spring fees went down just a little bit. I think those fees are going back up to this price for next fall. So just wanted you guys to see an example of what you're looking with as far as paying for tuition. So if we look at the graduate student column, 0 to 6 units is one price, and then 6.1 units and above is another. So it doesn't really matter whether you're in 8 units or 12, you're paying the same fees. Unless you're in the MBA program, then there's additional fees for every unit. So if you have questions about how much is it going to cost and your questions about this chart, you're feel free to ask us those too. I'm going to leave you guys with my email at the end of this, and you can email me any questions you have regarding fees, financial aid, anything else. I will do my best to answer all your questions. Hey, checking your myCSUB portal. Once you've applied to the campus and done your FAFSA or DREAM Act, you're going to start seeing things on your to-do list. So make sure you check those. Those are important in relation to financial aid. So we talked about state university grant, and it's a limited fund. Well, if we haven't been able to award you yet because we're waiting on a document, and we just started awarding state university grant and it's all gone before we get to you because we're still waiting on that document, you could have just missed out on a grant of over $7,000 to help with your tuition. So just make sure you get those documents in as soon as you possibly can, because in most cases we can't award you till we get them in. Financial aid limits, every program is different. So I know you've heard me talk about, credential students can get Pell, master's students can't. Credential students can get middle class scholarship. This brochure is actually really handy to kind of break down what you might be eligible for based on your years. If you've used so much Pell, how much do you have left? Because every type of aid is different. So when somebody says, oh, I've already used my 4 years, well, every aid type is different. Some have 6, some do have 4, but there's no set rule, and every student's package is unique. So you want to know when your aid might run out and what situations might cause you to lose your aid. And this brochure that you can find online is really handy for that. Another tool that we have for you in the financial aid office are checklists. These are actual physical checklists that you can pull up and print, and just to help you make sure that you've gotten everything in on time so there's no delay in getting you awarded or getting your aid processed and applied to your fees once you are awarded. Okay, satisfactory academic progress. If you've gotten your undergraduate recently or you're working on it, you've probably heard about SAP before. SAP becomes an issue when people start and stop a program, more so with the graduate programs. If somebody started a credential program and only took a couple of units here and there, or started the master's program and stopped, you can run out of terms and you can run out of units to complete your program. And then you have to file what's called a SAP petition. For the master's program, we have excuse me, we have 45 units there, but that's an average. Every program is a little bit different. So what's actually put into the system and tracked for you is based on what your major, your program actually is. So that 45 units, again, is just an estimate for master's programs, but it does vary. Financial literacy. The CSUB has paid for you guys, all students, to have a tool that is called iGrad. So you would log in with the same credentials you used to log into your myCSUB. And I just put a list there of some of the things that are available, some of the tools available through iGrad, but there's also many more. But the budgeting tools are great. Student loans, information on student loans, but it really is a neat website, and I would encourage you to go check it out. How to get help from financial aid. So we have our financial aid webpage, which does have a lot of information, sometimes too much. But usually if you search your question at csub.edu, you can find it. Your myCSUB portal to make sure you stay up to date on what's needed. Excuse me, guys. And we do have a Facebook page as well. So here's our direct email to financial aid. It's finaid@csub.edu. And then the main phone number. So we do answer emails every day. We have less than a 1-day wait right now on emails. That changes as we get closer to fall. And then we have people answering the phones Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 right now. Okay, special circumstances. I put this slide in here because especially right now with everything going on with COVID-19, people's work situations have changed. The home's financial situations in a lot of cases have changed. So when you do your FAFSA or DREAM Act, we're asking for information that's 2 years ago. And like I said, especially right now, that might not be a true reflection of your ability to pay for school. So if you're in a situation where your job has changed, the household income is reduced, somebody's no longer in the house that was contributing, you want to make sure you talk to us to see if you could benefit from doing what we call loss of income form. And what we can do is use the current year's information versus the information from 2 years ago, and which could make you eligible for aid that you might not have otherwise been eligible for. So a lot of people don't know that's even an option. So I just want to make sure, especially with everything going on right now, that you are aware that it is an option in case your financial situation has changed. Okay, just a page of miscellaneous important links. Academic Works, this is our CSUB scholarship application that I was talking about with the priority deadline of March 2nd, which is Tuesday. So please get in there and get those scholarship applications completed. Here's the link to CSAC where you can apply or get more information on middle class scholarship. The Golden State Teacher Grant is brand new this year. If you're interested or if you're working on a special ed teaching credential, this is something that you might be interested in, so feel free to reach out for more information. But it is only for credential students pursuing special ed. The DREAM Act application, there's the link, FAFSA, and then the Graduate Student Center's page on funding opportunities. So I put that in there as well. All right, so there is my direct email. Again, you're always welcome to send me any questions that come up, any concerns as you go through the process of working on your graduate degree. We are here to help you. We really want to help you get every free dollar that you can so that you don't have to use loans or use as little as possible. So please feel free to email me directly with any questions.